Okay. I'm trying an Instagram live. Y'all be nice to me. I never last long on Instagram because I get so many creepers. If I get a marriage proposal, I'm out. Jamie, every time I go live on Instagram, someone offers me a marriage. Isn't that amazing? I don't know. They offer me things. But they do say I have to pledge my love to Allah. I don't know. Do you have money? Just kidding. Hello everyone. Okay. I'm gonna get set up here. I just got back from Target. I got to Target and I had to pick up Cooper's prescription. And I got in line right at 8, like it was like 7:59, 8. And there were people in front of me and at the counter, and the pharmacist nicely, but the pharmacist yelled, she's like, "We're closed!" And I was like, "Oh." And I feel like life has been so much lately. I don't know if anyone feels like that. Like it's just, everything is just like pulling teeth to get all the things that I almost started crying because I needed to get his prescription. I was there. And then...
I have a question now. Was that the first thing you did when you walked in that store, or did you shop for a while?
Well, I walked around the Joanna Gaines home section for a half an hour. That's not true. I didn't do that. And I've just been so overwhelmed lately, and I just like seriously felt like crying. So like I just walked away. And then this is how people in Minnesota, I swear Minnesota people just don't complain. I don't think we do. I think we just like stew on our anger and frustration until it gives us ulcers. But for like 2 minutes, I walked around and I'm like, I'm going to find a manager. I'm going to give that manager a piece of my mind. This is a life-saving med. And then I, of course, didn't, because I would never do that. I would never. I'm going to tell you a true story. Twice in my life, I have complained via survey or online tactics. The first time, let me tell you, we had got inundated with laundry because there's 6 of us, and I did a laundry service for the first time ever. And our laundry service was one where they came and picked it up and then wash it. It's like nice people that wash it in their home and bring it back 24 hours later. And the woman didn't bring my laundry back. She said she got busy and she couldn't do it, and then 24 hours went by, and then another 24 hours went by, and she said her car broke down. And I'm telling you, of course I had sympathy for this human, but I needed my laundry back. So I finally got it back, and then when I got the survey, I filled it out, and it said that the survey was completely anonymous. So I filled it out, and I said, "Very nice lady, but this happened." No sooner did I press submit, did I get a text message. Remember when that lady didn't bring our laundry back? Mm-hmm. We never did get our socks. And she was like, "I heard you're upset with my service." And I was like, oh my God. Remember how stressed I was? I was like, what have I done? A plague on our house. Like, she's gonna come get us. So I could never use that service again.
I would have just turned it right around and been like, well, how do you think your service was, given the expectation of what happened?
I can't. I know that I have childhood trauma because instead of telling people what they did wrong, I just try to get them to like me. True story. And then the second time that I complained on a survey was for a sports team that Sawyer was on, and I know that it got back to the coach. So, you know what? You're getting all 10s for me. A plus service going forward. Cha-ching. Oh, yes. Okay, so we are nearing back to school. Sawyer and Harbor go back on next Tuesday. Little Harbor is going to be a kindergartner. OMG, I can't believe it. And he is. Jamie's a worse complainer than I am. He's more Minnesota nice than me. Unless he's in his car driving. And then everyone is the worst driver on the planet. Today we tried to bring Cooper to Savers to go. Savers is like a Goodwill. You were ridiculous. You were out of control. He's just lurking over here. Do you want to come stand over here? Watches me.
I need to hear what you're going to say about him, though.
So we tried to bring Cooper to a video store today. He watches these scenes on YouTube, and on YouTube, it's like someone going into like a Blockbuster. And he is just fascinated. And I keep telling him there aren't video stores anymore. Like even like Target and Walmart have like 6 videos. Like it's not what you think it is, you know. And so we have a Savers and a Goodwill, and both of them are. I mean, does everyone know what those are? They're like thrift stores, I guess. So in this city that I live in, our Savers is a really like hot place to go because people like try to get like cool stuff. So it's always sort of busy. But we go there today and there were people on the like parked on the road. The lot was full and I'm like, "Jamie, are all those people going to Savers on a Tuesday at 11 a.m.?" So both of us were thinking like abort, abort, abort. Like Cooper could never handle the crowds. And so we made the decision right there that we would try Goodwill. But we came to like a T in the parking lot and a woman who was older was waiting for a parking spot. Like remember there were no spots. So she was waiting for someone to back up. And then Jamie was like, "Oh, look at this ding dong." She really gonna wait? And I'm like, "Yeah, she's waiting. There's no other spots." But just kind of, I mean, it's because it's 40% off for seniors at Savers on Tuesdays. The things you know. Yeah, so I get a lot of angst driving with my husband. He's Does anyone else have a partner who thinks that everyone is a terrible driver? It's just like a very negative experience riding with him. And so I try to avoid it at all costs. He's a very, very, very nice person. But like not while driving. Oh, so okay, good. There's a lot of yeses. Good. Okay. And if you like peel back the layer on narcissistic personality disorder, you see some cohesiveness. Just say that. Okay, so let's go back to school. For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm sure all of you do. My son Cooper is 13. He has a diagnosis of severe nonverbal autism. He was diagnosed when he was 3.5. I'm always asked, did he develop typically? So many new parents have questions. Cooper met most of his milestones up until a certain point. And the first one he never babbled, so never met a speech milestone. But the first one, like other than that we noticed was he couldn't jump. Like we went to the doctor and we were doing the checklist, and he couldn't jump. And that was the first one where our doctor was like, he should be like jumping by now, and kind of a random milestone. And then using silverware was one that I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old too, and like they've been using silverware since they were like 18 months old. But Cooper, like even today, so Cooper's 13 and he typically has waffles for breakfast. And every morning, I set the plate down with the waffles and the cut up and a fork. And I'll say to him, use your fork. And he'll do like 2 bites. And then I'll like be doing something and I'll turn back and he is using his fingers. And then I'll be like, dude. And I always say to him, like, Cooper, you are 13 years old. You use your fork, young man. And then he'll like use his fork again. But it's just so unnatural for him. It's so hard. So that's one of the first things that we noticed. But he never developed speech. And then, I'm very honest about our autism journey. It was hard. It is hard. It's hard. It's amazing and wonderful. But we had a lot of really hard years. Our hardest years were ages 4 to 8. And now it's a different kind of hard. Now it's just different. It's more of an emotional kind, more of a tiresome advocacy kind. Like, can I do this forever kind? Of course I can. But I'm tired. So Cooper, a little bit, just really, really high level of his educational history. And I do a lot of speeches to schools. So I touch on this a lot. Cooper was kicked out of multiple daycares. 4 to 8, why? Typically, those are the ages where children, it's hard to find correct services for them. He was unable to communicate. He had zero. Get over here. Oh, look at this guy. Get over here. Who's this? Hi, did you miss me? I missed you a lot. What are you doing? This is my Snoopy. Cooper, can I tell them about you? Cooper he cleans and picks things up and helps us so much, don't you? He's just an amazing guy. Can you say bye with your mouth? Bye. I love you. He's so sweet. Oh my gosh, he's so sweet. He's just the best. 4 to 8 were hard. And so Cooper was kicked out of multiple daycares. Hey, the diva is requesting something. Can you hear my daughter? You guys, 3 in girls can break the most patient human. I will say to you straight up, I have survived autism, and my 3-year-old girl, wow, is she opinionated. Like, wow. Oof. So, and Facebook friends, can you guys all leave a comment? Can you leave a few more comments? I've said this before. It's hard for my videos to get seen, and one of the things that helps is comments. So, the more comments, the better. Girl, for real, I'm a 3-year-old preschool teacher, I tell you. Yeah, wow. I was told at length when I was pregnant, so I had 3 boys and a girl, and I was told at length by social media people, people that watch my page, that there is no difference than girls and boys. There's no difference, there's no difference, there's no difference. If I dare say it, I got eaten alive. Can I just tell you? My 3 boys are like, jump off the couch, everything's a sword, just what you see is what you get. I mean, just lovey-dovey, like, we don't yell. I'm not gonna say we yell at our kids, but like they're tough. Like, my 3 boys are tough. Like, I could be like, that's it, you're done, and they'll be like, literally, Harper walked up to me and I thought he was gonna hug me and he farted on me. Like, I mean, that's just like my 3 boys. My daughter, if I look at her the wrong way, she will sob. If and almost like, she's like emotionally smart. So like she plays like mind games. I mean, at 3. And like my boys are never like that. My boys are like, you know, do, 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 do. You know, yeah, the emotional part is way different. I was not prepared for that. Like even with my husband's a, I would say he's I would say like I'm the good cop, he's the bad cop. That's probably how I would describe us. And like, so like, you know, like tonight Cooper had my phone and wouldn't give it back. And I'm like, I'm gonna get your dad in here if you don't give that back to me. And then like all Jamie had to do was like walk in the room and Cooper's like, burp, you know. And like with Winnie, he could like never do that with her because she would just like cry. Like she's so tender. She's tender, if that makes sense. Yeah. Boys are just plain easier to raise. Yeah, and you know the other thing is I was told, you know, I'm an open book, but I thought after potty training 3 boys that a girl would be so easy. Um, I thought that it would be so easy. I had heard that girls are so easy. Well, not mine. I mean, she's more than capable. She's just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And she's more than capable. I'm like, okay, okay. She's also not the best sleeper, but I don't like to say that because then people diagnose her with autism and it makes me feel really sad. So I don't like to say anything about Winnie. Um, Girls turn into women and women rule. It's plain as that. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's really true. Yes. I wish she could just be a little bit less dramatic with me. Like maybe she could like rule the world, you know, after 18. Oh, hi Bev. Is that my Auntie Bev? Hi Auntie Bev. Jamie, your aunt's on here. Auntie Bev is on here. Okay. What else did I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. There's just so many good comments tonight, so I'm like answering them. Um, Back to Cooper. You know, we didn't really know his severity. And you know, when I talk about the things that have been the hardest for me to accept, it's really the nonverbal part. Nonverbal is heartbreaking, and I don't know. I can't lie about that. I think I don't spend every day waiting for him to talk anymore. He communicates in a variety of ways. He's phenomenal. He's smart. He makes me laugh. And I long for words. I would give my right arm or my left arm or any limb on my body if I could make my son talk. I would, and there's so much more than that. Like if anyone wants to scold me, I don't know why you would for saying that. But you know, he's so vulnerable. He's so many parts to it. When you can't communicate or unable to communicate in ways that people can understand, you know, he does a lot of screaming, and of course he screams. Of course he does. Like he's frustrated and he has things to say. And like I just challenge everyone, try to go 24 hours without talking. You know, what if your head hurts? What if someone lost your lunchbox? What if someone was mean to you? Like, and he gets so frustrated, and he got really frustrated. We had a pool party on Sunday night and he got frustrated about something, and I feel like I'm playing detective a lot. I think what happened, he went down the water slide with his brother Sawyer, and Sawyer was in front, and I think what happened, I think Cooper bumped his nose on Sawyer's head. And so he was like, ow, ow, ow. And just like a second of that. And then he might have even bumped it kind of hard because he left the water slide and was going in the other part of the pool. And then there was just maybe 2 minutes where he just got incredibly frustrated. And it's like, of course you're frustrated. Something happened and like you can't tell us. I can't fix it. So nonverbal's hard. I have a new book coming out in April, and in that book, I talk a lot about Cooper's severity, and it's at times it feels like a very low blow. And I'm not saying that anyone's journey with autism is easy. Everyone has challenges, hard. Um, there's so many challenges and so many. And sometimes when I speak about this, I feel like people think it's a competition. It's not. If you want to have a competition with me about the hardness of autism, you win. I will print you up a certificate and pop it in the mail. You win. But I share a lot in this new book about how when Cooper was diagnosed with autism, suddenly our peer group, went from every other 3-year-old to kids with autism. And it took us so long to acclimate to this new group and our new people and be comfortable there. And then I would say in second, third, and fourth, and fifth grade, it felt in a way like a lot of our autistic peers moved on and they started talking and they were able to do some mainstream classes and they were able to do things. And it felt, I went through a whole second grief cycle. I truly did. I'm going through it right now. I want to be very, very, very honest about that. I'm going through it again. And so you're not alone. And I just, on my hardest days, I wonder why he had to be so severely affected. It doesn't feel fair for him. So, it's just there's so many parts. My friend Carrie calls them paper cuts. She calls them paper cuts. So, Cooper was kicked out of multiple daycares. He was diagnosed, and then we went to what's called day treatment here in Minnesota. And it's really, it was just, he went there for a couple years. It was not ABA. It was a therapy center for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And they worked on things like sitting at a table and walking in a line and playing. And he did OT and speech and eating lunch. And it was great. It was great because we had to work, especially. But it was great because they understood autism and they helped him. And then, when it was time for kindergarten, I fully knew that kindergarten wasn't right for my son. But I felt the pressure to send him. I had to work. I didn't know any other options. We sent him to kindergarten, and it was not a good experience. I do think a lot of that had to do with the teacher. But I also think Cooper was just not ready. He didn't know how to sit in a circle. He didn't know how to sit at a desk. He didn't know how to walk in a line or communicate or listen and I really think that he was kept in a small room for most of the day. I was told that by paras. I was told that he wasn't included. Oh, thank you, Joshua. Just death by 1,000 trillion paper cuts. And the final straw for me, he wasn't included in Christmas concerts. He wasn't allowed to participate in certain activities. And I just said, I'm done. I'm done. We pulled him out, and I had no idea what to do with him. I'm being super honest. I acted and reacted and pulled him out. And I know there are a lot of controversies around ABA. And I'll tell you, ABA is not a fight that I'm going to have. But ABA was great for us for 3 years. It was the right step for Cooper. We had a great center with great people. And we started with in-home. And I always say, with our ABA experience, Cooper learned how to learn. So he worked 100% on safety. He worked on not running into streets. He worked on not running out locked doors. He worked on making choices, communicating, um, getting someone's attention nicely instead of screaming. They worked on potty training. We had an amazing therapist who helped us get them potty trained. We worked on trying new foods. We worked on, and I worked right along with them. Oh, Haley, I'm so glad you joined my supporter group. Yay, yay. We worked on so many, and sorry, and I was right there. So, I mean, I was working, but like for parts of the therapy and stuff, and we had in-home services. And I remember the first time I got Cooper to eat strawberry and a raspberry. I remember when we got him to drink water and drink from a cup, like so many things. And it was great until it wasn't. So I think that's kind of how our journey has been all along. Is I think a couple things happened. There is very little socialization in ABA, and I'm sure every center is different, but ours, there was very little socialization. So Cooper reached a point where he wanted to socialize more. So then he started acting out because I think he was bored. COVID happened. They moved all services to home, and Cooper does not like in home services anymore. This is our home. Don't you dare come in here and try and make me work. That's Cooper. Like, this is his safe space. He loves it here, and I've always thought, like, if you take a step back, like the idea of in-home services are a great thing. But what's interesting about them is I can see how it wouldn't make sense to a child. Like, this is my home. So we tried in-home ABA, and it was just a terrible experience. No blame on anybody. Specifically, it just wasn't right. And then it was time to go back. As some of the restrictions were lifted, and in full disclosure, his therapy center didn't take him back. They said that he was too severe and that his needs were too high, and that they would need 2 or 3 therapists for him, and they didn't have the staffing. And that shattered me like glass, because the way I will often describe having a child with a disability is like being in a hallway with all kinds of doors. And you're trying to get out the door, you're trying to open it, you're trying to get through it, and they slam it in your face. So we had already been, we've already left public education. Our only option was ABA, and then they wouldn't take him back. You guys, the tears that I cried. I mean, everything from, is he really that bad? Why do they hate him? What's left? We're at the end of the road. There's nowhere to turn. I'm going to have to quit my job. He's going to turn invisible. I mean, I can tell you every worry I had. And I ended up calling the school district back and just begged that they would take him back. And they have to. They have to. And in Minnesota, the way it works is there's levels of autism specifically for school. So a Fed 2, like a Fed 2 setting for autism is a classroom with lots of integration. A Fed 3 setting is a self-contained classroom within a public school. And a Fed 4 setting is its own building. It's just kids with significant disabilities. I thought for sure they would push us right to the Fed 4. I thought they would say, we're not even going to try you with public school, we're going to send you. The Fed director, I can still see her, Michelle, she was like, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Let's try a Fed 3. So Cooper would be in 4th grade with other level 3 autistic peers, and he'll be in a public school. Well, what was so amazing was the rest of that year, they didn't have gen ed there because of COVID. But in Minnesota, the kids with disabilities got to go back. So it was like this beautiful blessing. So Cooper got to be in the school for a full year with just his peers. Get to know the school, be comfortable. I mean, it was like an amazing, weird blessing. I mean, we all know that there were not many blessings during COVID. We all know that. And I'll tell you, my son Sawyer struggled immensely during COVID. He did not learn via Zoom. He's neurotypical. It was just a terrible experience for him. So I saw both sides. But I was so thankful that Cooper got to go back. Had a great fourth grade year, a wonderful teacher, had the same teacher for fifth grade. And I always tell this story whenever I give presentations that I went to his first conference, the first one that I ever went to, and his amazing teacher told me like 10 minutes of amazing things about him. And I looked at her and I was like, cut the crap. Give it to me straight. And she like burst out laughing. And she's like, he's amazing, Kate. He's an amazing little boy. And she goes, I could tell you everything that's hard and challenging, but I'm not going to. I will tell you when things are significant, but I'm going to tell you the good things. And I am not a crier. I know my stories have that in it, but I'm not. I sobbed. I was like, oh my God. And I hugged her. And so we had a great fourth and fifth grade year. Very good. And I was a little nervous about sixth grade, but not much. I was told to be very nervous from people, but I wasn't. And I'm going to be a little tight-lipped about this. I do talk about this in my second book, but we went to a school that had never had a Fed 3 program until that year and had never had kids like Cooper in the building, and a teacher who was a kindergarten teacher prior and had never fought Fed 3. And it was bad. It was bad. Bad. I don't throw around the word trauma. I think it's overused. But let me tell you that my husband and I sat on a Zoom, because it was still Zoom then, with 15 people or 14 people. And his teacher, quote, said, Cooper is causing me psychological damage, and I think you should put me, the other teachers, and his peers in front of him and worry about us. And no shit, the SPED director ended the Zoom. Ended it, scream went black, after she said it. And she called me immediately after and said she should have never said that. Please don't sue us, blah, 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 blah. And we will find a new place for Cooper. And so there were lots of other things that happened. It was a terrible experience. Also, the vice principal at that school, if I ever meet him, I found out that they weren't letting Cooper out of the classroom all day. And I said to him, why can't he like go to the lunchroom? Like, why can't he go in the hallway? And he said to me, quote, the floors are real hard here and so are the walls, and we wouldn't want him to get hurt. And I said, he can walk. He can walk fine. Like, why would he get hurt? That man did not want my son in the halls of his school. Yeah. If I ever... Oh my God. I'm like sweating. I'm like sweating because I'm so angry. It's been 3 years. I'm so angry. Yeah. I'm like, what is this, an institution? Like, we're like locking him away? Ding, ding, ding. There's a lot more, but they ended up putting us in a new school mid-year of sixth grade. We actually had a meeting the day before Thanksgiving, the Wednesday, and had a very good sixth grade year. Had one tough behavior that put us in a tough place for a while. Seventh grade went okay. Cooper in all of seventh grade had one tough behavior. It was a really hard one. We found out that he had wanted a cookie and they wouldn't give him one because they didn't think he had money in his lunch account, which the funny part about it is like school lunches are free here right now, but also he did have money in his lunch account. And like, how frustrating. Like, just think about that. Every other kid gets to buy a cookie and you don't. Of course you're going to get frustrated. Like, of course you're going to get mad. He had a pretty tough behavior. And when I think about it, and it's stuff that, this is the underbelly of disability that's not talked about. He had a meltdown in the lunchroom, and because there were so many kids they had to get through the line, they just put blue mats around him while he had his meltdown. Do I think they did it wrong? I don't know. I wasn't there. Am I heartbroken? Yeah. Um, am I angry? Yeah. Am I sad? Yeah. I'm sad for Cooper. So sad for him. I I think sometimes, when I speak to teachers and educators, I always say I have a really challenging kid. So please know that I am not naive. Sometimes I'll tell you, like when Cooper was in kindergarten and first grade, I was pretty naive. I was like, oh, he's so wonderful. Like he's like a Tasmanian little devil. But now that, where we are, I can speak really honestly and openly. Cooper is so smart and capable and funny and loving, and he's also can be incredibly challenging. And autism is hard. And this is why he has an IEP and a behavior plan and hopefully training and staff. And so I am not pie in the sky anymore. But, and I'll tell you one more thing about that really hard behavior that he had. I had been away from my phone, which is very rare. Like I keep my phone with me all the time when he's at school, but it was my birthday. It was April 25th that this happened. And I was out with my girlfriends for late lunch, and I got a voicemail that Cooper had like his worst meltdown ever at school. And the principal had said in the voicemail, when he gets home, he's going to be really upset. So like be prepared for that. He's going to be really upset. And this is the heartbreaking thing about nonverbal autism. When I got home, I was like, "Hey, Coops, how was your day?" And he's like, "Yeah." He doesn't say much, but I was like, "Did you have a good day?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it's like, apparently this like absolutely, and this is why when we think about these kids are so susceptible to abuse, verbal abuse and physical abuse and bullying and all these parts. And Cooper, I honestly don't think that he would be able to tell me. So we're starting eighth grade this year, and I, I don't think that, I don't know. We have the most amazing para. She's helped us a little bit this summer. Like she is just an angel on this earth. She loves Cooper and she likes Cooper, and I trust her to keep him safe and keep him clean and give him his dignity. And I think she knows that. I mean, she has my most precious gift in her hands. I mean, he's I keep using this word vulnerable, and I just want to keep hammering that home so people understand that, you know, I've heard, parents of kids with disabilities want the red carpet rolled out. It's always about the special education kids. Bull crap. It's like, I just want a building for my kid to be able to go to, and a bus for him to ride, and an aide to keep him safe. And, it's like I feel like my standard is so of what I'll accept is so low because I'm just so thankful that he has a place to go. And so I get asked all the time, what's going on with her? Paraeducators are undervalued. I think, and I hear that from every parent, like every single parent that I talk to. So I hope paras understand and schools understand their value. I don't think Cooper would be where he is without her. And I think he'll get her. We don't know about this year because I haven't heard anything, but I think he'll get her for one more year. I don't know what high school looks like for Cooper. I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea where we'll end up or where we'll be. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of sending him back. I'm sick about it already. Severely underpaid, yes. So I get asked all the time, like, what can we do as parents of neurotypical kids to make a difference, to help Cooper, to help kids like Cooper? And for any of you that are watching, have a conversation with your kids about kids that are in special education. And I'm going to speak really honestly to you, and you're going to nod your head. As parents, we're afraid to start conversations where we may not know the answers to the questions, right? We don't want to be like deer in the headlights look with our kids. I know that. I know that. But it doesn't have to be a complicated conversation. Say hi to kids like Cooper. Be patient with kids like Cooper. Get to know them. Sit by them. Say hi in the lunchroom. I mean, Cooper loves high fives. Cooper, it's like his favorite thing in the world. He loves a fist bump. Oh my gosh, like he fist bumps me probably 200 times a day over Amtrak's. Over Amtrak's. Like, I mean, I think sometimes we think that inclusion has to be this big grandiose thing. It really doesn't. Just tell your kids about kids like Cooper. Autism. You know? Cooper is just like every other kid, except he has a disability that makes communicating challenging for him. It gives him really specific interests. He may communicate with a computer. I mean, just little things. I've heard from people like, and I speak to this a lot. I hear from people like, what if I say hi and he doesn't speak back? And I think the root of that is embarrassment. Like, I will see with my son, so my son has a delayed processing time. So like if you say something to him, hey Cooper, come here. He probably won't. But if you say something to him, it may take him 20 seconds to respond or 30 seconds. I know kids that have, or adults that have delayed processing time of like a minute or two. And so people get so nervous when they don't get a response. Even people in my family that love Cooper to death will be like, Cooper, do you want chicken nuggets for dinner? And if he doesn't answer immediately, they're like, Kate, what does he want for dinner? And I'm like, just wait. And Cooper's like, yes! So I think it's human nature to be nervous when things take time, when there's an awkward silence. Another question I get asked is, and this is a really important one, and we're dealing with this a lot with Sawyer, our 11-year-old, and Cooper. What if the child with a disability has a meltdown? What if they scream? What if they flap their arms? What if they do something embarrassing, right? So for example, Cooper does not understand that we're not supposed to go digging for treasure. We're working on it, but he doesn't understand. So he will often like pick at his nose, pick at his face, or hands in pants, different things like that. So think of the social norms that we learn as we get like, come over here real quick. Come say goodnight. Get over here. Get over here. Oh, get over here. So when Cooper goes to bed, he goes, shh, come here. What does this say? Camping at cabin, movie, sleep, cookies, grandma and grandpa? That's what you want? I love you. Who do you love? Who? Who do you love? Well, I love Cooper. Who does Cooper love? Can you say mom? Camping at cabin, movie, sleep, cookies, grandma, grandpa. Fist bump. Bye. Keep it real, home slice. He's like racing to the stairs. Um, yes, so like that's the thing that I try to like tell Sawyer. So our 11-year-old, he can get really embarrassed. And it's normal. You know, like he'll get embarrassed if Cooper screams, or he'll get embarrassed if um, Cooper's done some things where he's had to go to the bathroom and taken his pants off before the bathroom, started pulling them down, different things like that, which don't embarrass Cooper in the slightest. And Sawyer's like, Mom, you know? And so when I speak to teens who are hopefully interacting with kids like Cooper, I'm like, don't worry, they're not embarrassed, you know? And so I spoke to a group of teens who works with kids like, or volunteers with kids like ours or mine. And I said, one of the biggest things, I had a list there, one of the biggest things that I wish that you could do, and this sounds so simple, but I really want you to think about dignity. And I'm like, think about your own looks. And I'm talking to this group of teenagers who has like, boys have immaculate hair and like, they're dressed to like the nines, that's the term, like just like, you know, dressed amazing. And the girls are wearing Lululemon, like perfect hair. And like, I said, how old are you? And this boy was like 16. And I was like, how would you feel if you had food on your face and no one told you? And he's like, I would be so embarrassed. And I said, a lot of times my son Cooper will have food in his face and he doesn't know. And I said, if you're hanging out with Cooper, it would mean so much to me as his mom if you could say something like, dude, let's go wipe your face. You got a little something on your face. Let's just go to the bathroom and do it together. And it sounds so simple, but you know, Cooper's a 13-year-old boy, and like I don't want him to be in public with food in his face and like super disheveled and you know all messy. I want him to be like all of his peers, and let me just say above all, I don't know if the social norms will ever come. I have no idea if they will ever come for Cooper. They might not. They might not develop. But that's why it's important for us around him to remember that. I was walking through the airport one time, and I will never forget this. It is burned in my brain. I saw a man with a disability, and I'm going to go ahead and guess it was severe autism. And he was heavier, and he was sitting like near the baggage claim, and his shirt was like tucked in like under here, like under like his skin fold, and his whole belly was hanging out, and he was like touching his belly. And it just like broke me to think that someday I'm going to be gone, or before I'm gone, Cooper could be in the community and whoever's with him, an aide or someone, or his sibling or someone, could let him sit there like that. That man didn't want to sit there like that. He just didn't know the difference. And so, you know, I know it sounds so cliche, but if we wouldn't want it for ourselves, like, you know, that leads me to my last thing that I'll say tonight is, if you wouldn't say it in front of a neurotypical child, please don't say it in front of my son. And so the thing that happens when you have an individual with a disability, I think especially someone who's non-speaking, because I see it a lot with non-speaking individuals, people have conversations in front of them that they wouldn't in front of Harbor, who's 5, or Winnie, who's 3. And I went on a field trip one time with Cooper's class, and one of the paras, who was a little rougher on the edges, like looked around and was like, I'm gonna get so drunk tonight. These kids I can't handle it. They drive me crazy. And she was like talking about like how drunk she was gonna get, and she was blaming it on the kids. And I was so mad because Cooper's friends that I share a lot are definitely more cognitively aware than Cooper. And um, it just like broke me that they would say that in front of these kids because they would never in front of Sawyer. And they would never in front of Harbor because they would tell us. So, these things happen. And I want to be clear, we've all done it. I've even changed. I've learned so much. I used to say things in front of Cooper when he was younger. I've learned as I've went. I've just please don't talk negatively in front of him. Please don't. He's listening and he's smart and he has feelings and he has so much value. So please don't. Please don't. And I guess if you're an adult and you ever hear kids making fun of a person with a disability, can you please think of Cooper and just like step in and say something? I know it's hard to be brave, but like can you? I don't know. I don't know. Or tell someone so they'll stop it. I don't know. It's just I'm so scared sometimes. I'm scared all the time. I'm honest. I'm scared all the time. Okay. Hot. Okay, I'm gonna get ready. I have kids that are just crabby. I'm gonna go up and help them. My husband's running around. I'm getting the right now. Hey, I'm busy. Okay, I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you for being here. Instagram friends, I'm trying to go live more over here. I do have a supporter group on Instagram if you want to click that, and you'll get more live videos from me. Same with Facebook. I try to go live every day for Facebook to my subscribers. Click that link and come join. Okay. Also, I have a book. I don't know where it is, but it's called Forever Boy, and you should get it. It's wonderful. Okay. Bye. Goodbye, guys.